Today we share the story behind the amazing character art of Mech, who is a brilliant Blender artist who shares a lot about how he does his work on YouTube. So I am going to read to you guys an interview that Cgcookie did with Danny so we can learn more and share some knowledge. He starts off saying, "I guess I fall into both categories really. While I went to university, I would say only a fraction of what I know was learned there. I have acquired much of my knowledge through online materials, but I don't know if that counts as self-taught, as it is like having a school on your computer. However, once I became more confident in my abilities, I realized that there are undiscovered ways of doing things, and I have learned a lot through trial and error too. 3D is my full-time passion, and I earn a living by depending on 3D tools and techniques and selling them online. The appeal of self-directed content lured me away from applying to work in a studio. Blender is my all-around, which I mainly use for lighting and rendering. I initially swapped Maya for Blender because as an independent artist I simply don't have the means to pay for Maya, so Blender being free was the main draw. But I quickly noticed how nimble it is compared to Maya and fell in love pretty quickly. The community behind Blender is so great, and there is naturally more support for independent artists within the Blender community. I haven't actually used it for a while now. I'm struggling. It would be definitely nice to see more integration with other tools in Blender, such as converting curves and geometry into guide hairs. You can do this now using the hairnet add-on, but I think this should be a standard feature. I do like how well the hair system integrates with particle physics, meaning I can easily control parts of the hair using a curve-guided force field. I think it is important to distinguish between a concept artist and a 3D artist. Generally, you are better at one or the other, and I lean towards the 3D side. Most of the characters I have created are concepts from 2D artists that I have fallen in love with when scrolling through media, so I guess they chose me. I always first ask the artist if they mind me translating their concept into 3D, and they are usually excited about the idea. I do sometimes create a character not based on somebody else's work, but the results tend to be not as good, something I'm currently working to improve on. I'm not sure how strong my pencil skills are, to be honest, but what I have noticed is that drawing and 3D complement each other very well. They are basically the same journey but with different obstacles. For example, lighting an object in 3D is technically easy. You just add a few lights and let global illumination take care of the rest. The result might be garbage, but you lit your object. Drawing, on the other hand, forces you to add light with purpose, which in turn helps you understand where and why to add light back in 3D. I don't think you necessarily need to understand both mediums, but it definitely helps. Apart from enjoying putting tutorials together, having learned so much from the online community, I almost feel duty-bound to share my own knowledge in return. The Blender community is particularly sharing, and it's good to be part of that. Though I would be lying if I said my motives are purely altruistic. Aside from marketing, I have found teaching is also the best way to learn because it forces you to fully wrap your head around concepts before you can confidently deliver it to somebody else. This often means pushing knowledge further than I otherwise would. The finishing part is the most challenging. My work in progress folder has probably 10 times more projects than my finished projects folder because sometimes you just run into a wall. If it is a commission, I'm forced to plow through it, but it is not as easy to just start something new. I have studied realistic shapes and proportions and have even drawn realistically, but the idea of pushing something highly realistic doesn't even remotely interest me. Don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect for artists such as Dan Rorty, who makes incredible replications of real life which requires an insane amount of skill, but for me, the fun, the point even comes with deviating from reality. I am looking for an interesting answer for this, but for the longest time, art was pretty much all I lived for. It was basically my only hobby and consumed pretty much all of my spare time. If anything, art has taught me things that I have taken with me into other hobbies, such as having patience while learning new skills. I hope you enjoyed listening to this interview. If you want to know more, you can find all the links in the description. If you have something to add, you can leave it in the comment section below. Also, you can check some of our previous videos. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.